Hello everyone, welcome to day 13 of the holiday card series for 2023. For today's card, I thought it would be really fun to do sort of a minimal supplies card. So it's going to be quite a bit of watercolor painting, but kept very simple. And one little greeting stamp. It's going to go real quick. So my idea is, I'm going to show you my sketchbook here, is something like this that will, the finished card will look like this. So just really simple gift boxes with strings on them. So we're going to go from there. But the twist on this is that it's going to be black watercolor paper and all metallic watercolor, except for maybe the strings. The strings just might be in white, so they'll really stand out on top of the colorful painting. But that is the plan for today. And so after I had this figured out, I thought, you know what? Let's tape everything off. And I did a trial run. So this is going to be a 5x7 card. I'm going to use different widths of masking tape to mask things off so that I can paint these gift boxes and have it have really sharp edges and corners. So here we go. Let's get started. Like I said, the watercolor paper I'm using is black watercolor paper. This is the Royal Talens Van Gogh black watercolor paper. And I picked this watercolor paper in particular because I can use tape on top. I have another kind of black watercolor paper that is a little bit more delicate. It's very lush and very cushiony, has a very cotton feel, but has a more delicate surface. And when you use tape, it like peels up the paper. But I know for a fact that with this paper, I can use tape. So that's why I'm using that. Also, all of the supplies I'm using today are listed down below in the video description. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using 2 widths of tape. I have this one, which is almost 1 inch wide. It's just barely shy of 1 inch, if I remember correctly. And then this one is a 1/4 inch. Now, if you don't have 1/4 inch tape and you want to do this card, you could definitely, just take a strip of this, put it on a surface that's kind of slick that you can pick it up from. I suggest a glass mat or just a cutting mat. And then use a ruler and an X-Acto knife and just cut 1/4 inch strips. I think that would definitely work. So now we're going to get into the taping. And I've got stuff happening on my paper here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take the 1 inch wide tape and I'm going to put a border on the top and the sides. I'm going to be using my grid mat here to help line things up. So I'm just making sure that visually it's lined up just perfectly. In fact, I might get the beginning started and then slide it up so it can stick to my mat. All right, so I've got that started and then I'm just going to slide this up and get that lined up perfectly on my grid mat. Just have those 2 sides hold it. I'm going to add the tape onto both sides and then I'll continue taping. And I'm doing it this way because I want to get kind of like evenly sized gift boxes. And so I didn't want to start from the bottom or start at the bottom and top because I'm going to get them evenly spaced and then the greeting is going to go down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to eyeball these. I'm not going to measure or anything. All right, so now I've got my 1/4 inch tape. So I'm first going to do the vertical and I'm going to kind of try to find where the center is and just eyeball it about right there. And then I'm going to take a note on my grid mat where that is about. Hey, Sophie. Hi. All right. I'm going to try to make these about square. So I'm just going to, like I said, eyeball it, see where it is on my mat, and kind of line it up. I was trying to get it like lined up from side to side on about the same line there. Add another one. Like I said before, I'm just going to eyeball it. That works. Oh, and then I can go to this 1 inch. All right. And I'm going to try to get another kind of square shape and I'm going to have extra space at the bottom and that's totally okay because that's where I'm planning to stamp my greeting. I'm going to put my tapes to the side I'm gonna get out my watercolors. I'm gonna be using the Christmas watercolor set from Yuli Watercolors. These are the half pans. I don't know, she might sell a full set of the half pans now, I'm not sure. But when I purchased them as individual colors. I've picked out 8 colors over here to use. This is gonna be quite a colorful card. So I like to use a little bottle with a little dropper in it, just to drop one little drop of water on each of these. That's going to help getting the water soaked in. On my little initial sketch, I kind of came up with the designs I'm going to do on each one. So I think I want this one to be a light green background, and then I'm just going to paint on some stripes to make a plaid. So I'm going to start with, this is a size 6 Escada. Okay, so at this point, I can remove all of my tape because I do want some of the strings to go beyond the gift wrap, all the gifts. So, all right, and as I pull the tape back, I'm gonna like fold it almost all the way back on itself, and that will help it from pulling up any of the paper. Oh, that's so satisfying. I'm telling you. Okay. Now these little ones. Going really slow. Okay. Peeling that off oh so carefully. All right, and then the vertical. Oh yeah, I'm so glad I'm not seeing a ton of bleeding. Okay, and now the two sides. Oh, Those corners are so satisfying. I love it. All right, come on, tape. There we go. Oh, this turned out so good with the tape. Makes me so happy. All right, so when you're peeling up from a corner, what I like to do is I'm not gonna peel directly from that corner. I'm gonna peel from further down, because sometimes the paper is at its weakest at the corner because it's been cut there. So that's just a little tip for you. Like if you're pulling it directly from the corner, try to angle it so where it's pulling from is not at the corner. All right, let's do some little strings and stuff like that. I'm just gonna use an acrylic block, and then I've got some gouache, which is just like a opaque paint, and it's very thick when it comes out of the tube, so you do have to water it down quite a bit. I'm adding water to this because I want to get it, oh, there you go, now you can see it. I want to get it pretty fluid, but still thick enough that it's going to really be bright on the card. Okay, that looks about right. Clean off my brush, and I'm going to switch to a really teeny tiny brush. This is a 50. I don't even know where I bought it. I went to find it for the supplies, and I could not even figure out where I bought it. But it's like a little teeny tiny brush. Okay, so that's about the thickness I want for the strings. I'm using my little cheat sheet over here so I can tell how it's supposed to look. You could definitely do the little bows and strings with like a paint pen or anything like that. Hi, Daphne. Daphne. Wow, she's angry tonight. Hey, what's up? What's the problem? All right, we're just gonna go directly across, and then we're just gonna do another little bow that's very similar. All right, another little bow. Okay, so I'm gonna do a vertical string, and then this is gonna have like a really big bow on it. All right, this one's gonna have a double string on it. So I'm gonna take one at a little bit of an angle up to the center, and then another one right there. In fact, I really could just continue with each, and then go right there. Okay. And I'm going to do some double loops. So right there. I knew we wanted to do double strings on this one, so I wanted to keep the base color of the gift wrap really simple. All right, and then I'm just gonna do a couple little strings coming each way, just like that. I'm gonna do not quite center, a little bit high up on this one. And then I think I'll do the bow right here. In my original, I had it on the side, but it's gonna go right over that silver, and I don't think it shows very much on top of the silver, so. All right, and then another not centered right here. And this one's going to be at the bottom. Oh, it can go a little bit outside the edge too. This almost looks like a spider to me. I'm kind of regretting it. I'm regretting having the double strings. Oh well. I mean, I guess I could just paint it so it's like a regular ribbon. That's a good idea. Let's do that. I'll just make this one look a little different than the others. It almost needs a friend that has the same kind of ribbon on it. But I like it better than the spider looking thing. I think I saw a comment say bottom left. Yeah, I agree. Let's thicken up this one so that it kind of matches. So it has the thicker ribbon. I think the thicker stripes can handle it. All right, so done with all the painting. I'm going to hit it with my heat tool really quick, and then all we have to do is stamp our greeting down here at the bottom. I'm going to do anti-static powder tool just right down here at the bottom where I'll be applying. It's okay if the powder shows, I can wipe it off in a minute. And I will be using pigment ink, but let's get the stamp going. Okay, Season's Greetings. I'm thinking white for my greeting just because it'll match the ribbons or the strings. I'm stamping in white pigment ink. And I'm going to stamp a couple of times actually because it's just going to go really lightly. It's just going to touch the surface. You know what? This isn't straight on the card. Whatever. I'll get over it. I'm going to stamp it one more time. I'm like, come on, how come it's not getting that whole area? That'll be fine. That'll be fine. I'm going to keep the stamp in my MISTI just in case I need to stamp it again. Doubtful, but just in case. All right, and then here's my white embossing powder. Try to not get it on the paint. All right, you can see where I didn't put the powder tool. That's okay. I'm just going to brush this away. Oh, that embossing looks so good. Ever since I started using white pigment ink, I don't know what the difference is, but I'm getting such good embossing when I emboss like little tiny greetings. Okay, I want to make sure this is completely cool. And then I'm going to use a microfiber cloth, and that's what's going to pick up all that excess powder. And just, you know, lightly rub the surface and it gets rid of all the powder, or most of it anyway. Looks like there might be some right there. Almost done here. Just have to adhere it to a card base, 5x7 card base. I'm just going to use my extreme adhesive from Tombow. Okay. Then I start from the fold. So here is the finished card. You can see that gorgeous kind of chromy shimmer. I've also got some little bits of like dust or something hanging out, but I'm pretty sure an eraser will take all that off. But here's the finished card. I love how it turned out. You could definitely do variations on this. You could paint all of your patterns and then use a square die to cut them out, so you could avoid using all the tape. And when you do that, you could actually use white embroidery floss and tie ribbons around the squares and then adhere them to your card using foam tape. I think that would be a really cute variation on this, or even skip the painting altogether and just die cut squares of patterned paper. I think that could be really, really pretty too. So thanks for joining me for day 13 of the holiday card series. I will be back on Wednesday with day 14. We are moving right along. Christmas will be here before we know it. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.